I need your opinion on something. I ordered a deer feeder, automatic deer feeder. I thought, how could I feed the deer at the same time, but not exactly the same fashion, but still get them corn? Chad and I were talking. He said, Dad, just get you an automatic deer feeder, just like I've got. So I ordered one. By the way, I'm Grandpa Doss, Grandpa Doss Farms. How's everybody today? Thank you for coming along. I'm thinking about putting it right here. This is a relatively clear area. I set that thing right here. I'm kind of in the middle and threw corn, 12, 15 feet out, however far I could throw it. Wouldn't that be okay? That'd be perfect, right? And with this feeder, there's an app you can get. It's like $50 a year, but I can tell it to throw corn when I want, how much I want, how far away from the feeder I want. It can be done manually. I can set it with a schedule of every morning at 5:45. So I can do all of that and I can just set it right there. I think that's a great idea. What do you think? So yeah, let's get that thing put together and see if we can't set her out over here and we'll make it happen. All right, got her set up. Wasn't too tough to put together. Looks good sitting there, doesn't it? Huh? Now I'm gonna go ahead and weed eat around it, get that ready. Then I'm gonna put some corn in it and see if I can run a test, see if it works. I got the app downloaded, paid my money, $50 for the year, no big deal. That'll be great to be able to just kind of feed it either manually or just automatically change it wherever I'm at. That'll be nice. Let's do a little weed eating first. That may not be big enough area for all of them to get along. I may have to go a little further out. But for right now, I'm gonna try it out. Let's see if it'll work. I'm gonna dump this corn in. I think these hold about 3 bags, 3 50-pound bags of feed. I think that's a 40. I know I got to put more in eventually. Do you remember a few videos back, I told you I was going to show you a new toy? Well, no, not the deer feeder. It's another one. This is more of a maintenance item. I like things around here to be clean and neat. One thing that drives me crazy is the sidewalk and the driveway pad, the garage floor can just get really nasty. Now, I know I got chickens. I'm not gonna be able to change that. But one thing I can do is not have these stains right here all the time. This comes from water. It forms that algae, fungus, mildew, mold, whatever you wanna call it. Now, I took the power sprayer. You can do that. You can go back and forth and back and forth. The power sprayer though, if you've ever used one, about the widest you can go and be effective is about 4 or 5 inches wide. You got to hold it down there within 6, 7 inches of the surface, maybe even closer, to do a really good job. Takes you forever. I think we've got a 30 by 36 or 25, whatever it is, 36 garage pad out here. And you can see it's discolored. You all know it. You guys have garage pads, and you know what? It probably in the long run doesn't really matter that it gets to looking dingy. But at some point, I just want to go, I'm going to clean it up. So anyway, I bought that new toy, and here it is right here. I'll have Grandma put the name of it on the screen. I can't remember off the top of my head. It come off Amazon. This is 19 inches in diameter. They make 24, 20, 15, 13, whatever. I probably should have got a 24, but I thought maybe in a couple of tight spots, this would be better. And I realized it's going to take me a while, but I've already turned it on, and you can kind of see, look at that right there. Ain't that cool? Even though this out here looks pretty good, the sun does bleach it. This is going to take it back to where it kind of looks like new. So I'm going to fire it up and kind of show you how it does. It was easy to hook up. Just this piece, let's see, I beg your pardon, this piece and this piece hooked into there, those little quick couplers. And then you take your washer and you hook it to that one and you just pick it. You're ready to go. There's nothing to it. See, it just rolls around. That's really cool. Let me fire it up. Oh yeah, look at there, there you go. That's awesome. Oh, look at that. My goodness, look at that. That is fantastic. See the difference? Look at that nasty stuff right there. Oh my word. Folks, I'm gonna get you the price. That's not very expensive. If you've never used one, you have a power washer. It only takes, I think, like 2,100 PSI, maybe even less, something like that. It tells you. Depends on the size you get. That's what it looks like underneath. Ain't much to it. Got this one big tube right there. Got this real stiff brush to keep things underneath it. Keep the water focused. And obviously, to me, the slower you go, the better job it's going to do. It depends on how dirty it is. I am so pleased. Hey, this is not a sponsored video. I paid for this thing. Alrighty, all done. I'm probably looking at, I don't know, did it take me 40 minutes, maybe 45? Now it's still wet, just got done. I took the shower fitting on the nozzle of the hose and rinsed all the dirty water down, because it really won't do any good to wash that off. If you don't get all the dirt off of it, it'll just look even worse. See, I missed little spots. If I were doing it for somebody else, I'd get all those little spots off. But because it's me and it's a learning curve, I'm not too worried about it. All these little specks of dirt and dust, all that you see, those are kind of, some of that's wood chips, chicken feathers, you name it, that were in the cracks of the sidewalk here to keep the sidewalk from, or the pavement from splitting. When it dries completely, I'll take my blower and I'll blow all those off. Thing to me is, I proved to myself that these things absolutely do work. So that's a valuable tool to Grandpa Doss anyway. I like that kind of stuff. I just kind of wanted to show you all that. I was excited about it. It worked for me to perfection. It works as good as you want to do it. I could have even taken more time, maybe got a little more stuff up, but for me, I'm satisfied with it. So on to the next. Before Jeremiah and Jacob get here to do the fence, I want to have 2 gates for them to put up. I've got a man gate here. I think that's like a 6-footer. It's going to go down kind of where we're going to have a cross fence where the dogs and the goats are now, and then up into the new area. The 12-footer is going to go into the woods right in there somewhere where we're going to have the 12-footer. That way I can bring my tractor up here, go in there. If I have to do any work in there, then I can shut this man gate off, keep the dogs and the goats over there, and get in a tractor in where I've got the 12-footer coming from Chad. So that's going to work out great. I've got to put something across here. The goats won't get out, and the dog, they might. I mean, they'd have to work really, really hard at it. I don't think the doggies would try to squeeze through there. But it's not necessarily keep them in as to keep things out, like the chickens or anything else that might try to get in. So I'm going to take this piece of this horse panel right here, cut it down to size, and I'm going to do what Chad did. I'm going to use metal ties, put it around there. I won't worry about welding it. So we're going to cut that and get that done. That'll just be another piece of the puzzle right there. Not only have the horse panel up here, but I've got some welded wire I've already fastened to that. So I may put some more up here just to make sure nobody gets in or out. I forgot I'm right-handed. Oh wow, look what happened. Holy moly. Look at that. I sheared it off right there, broke it in 2. See that? That ain't gonna work. All right, well, I gotta replace that. All right, so it's that much too long. What I'm gonna do, think I'll cut it right here. Be perfect. And I can take my cable ties and go all the way up and down that right there. That's one way to wear out a grinding wheel real fast. Woo. I found another piece of welded wire because I needed some from, oh, let's see, from here up to the top. So I secured that down with some zip ties. All I gotta do now is put some more metal zip ties up here, a few of them in there. But other than that, she's ready to go. Nothing getting in there. Shouldn't be anything getting out either. I feel pretty good about that. There's one more thing I've been wanting to do that'll make it easier to clean out the chicken coop, because as you know, I take a dustpan, a brush, and a scraper, and I scrape it all out every day. And I occasionally put down my first Saturday lime, keeps the flies down, keeps the odor down. And I have these these are actually dog crate bottoms. They're 41 by 26. Chickens roost here. Of course, they roost here, and they roost here. So when they poo-poo, it goes mostly on this side, not here. Are you with me? So what I'm thinking, I'll spread this out. I've already got one spread out right here, as you can see. I actually just thought of this. These are about, I don't know if these are 3/4 of an inch. You know, they got that little lip on them there. At least a half an inch, could be 3/4 right here, right? What I'm thinking, since they don't really go to the bathroom on this side, I can kind of load it up over here. Then when you take your scooper and you scoop it out, your fresh sand can come from here, you see? So we're gonna try that. I got 6 bags of this right here. This is what Chad used in He and Ray's chicken. Let me turn this over. I got it at Lowe's. Bear with me. One-handed, it's heavy, but it's multi-purpose, there we go, sand. It's pretty fine. It's not real coarse, but it doesn't have the stuff in it, the aggregate or whatever you want to call it, that makes it, if it gets wet, I guess it gets, or damp, it gets sticky. I don't know, kind of hard, solid. You know what I mean? We'll find out. But I'm hoping that'll be easier to do. Maybe after a while I'll just leave it. I don't know. This will be my first. All right, let's spread one here. I'll show you. We've gotten a lot done in this video, for sure. You know, these bags, I don't know if they weigh 80 pounds or not, like most concrete, but they're pretty heavy. I don't know, 50, 60 pounds, I bet you. Don't be out there just cranking up on them. Hurt your back like, you know, some people I know. I wasn't sure how much one bag would cover. I got 6 bags. I'm only going to need 4. And then then as we use it, I'll kind of know what it would take to replace it. I mean, I don't know yet how long each one of these is going to last me. The spread's real easy. I've got birds that roost all the way up on top, but they have very few birds roost down here. They've all kind of got their places that they go, you know, in their pecking order. So I've only got, I don't know if I got 8 birds up here or not. This is the one that gets the messiest. Behind me over there are where the 7 go. They got the 7, the newbies go in this 2x4 right here. And I probably got 5 or 6 that go here. The rest of the birds, they go up here. Magneto and about 3 girls go over here. I can't do anything about this. There's no edge there, but that actually just gives them more room, and it's easy to clean off. You know, Grandma has put that linoleum up here. These are rubber mats. Scrapes off easily. They come down and, you know, I can wash them out. So I don't mind doing that, and it gives the birds more room, and they don't fight. So anyway, which works out. There it is. I am not going to put any here in the middle of the floor. They don't go to the bathroom here. Very, very seldom. When they can't hold it till in the morning. You know how that goes, right? Well, I mean, we know how it goes and they know how it goes. I'm just saying, okay, too much information. I think it's going to work fine. Huh. Fine, like fine sand for a little bit. We'll see what happens. So, good project. I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes. Well, alrighty. Did the sand work? Yes or no? We're about ready to find out. This is the time I normally clean out the coop in the afternoon, right about the time I collect eggs. So it's had all day to kind of sit in here on the sand. And actually, folks, I'm telling you, I know this is kind of nasty for you guys, but for me, that's actually pretty nice. Cleans up just kind of like kitty poo. So basically, you get the chunks, and if it's too wet, you know, a lot of times the chicken poo is kind of runny. I just stir that in, stir that up, like so. Yeah, that worked out great. Let me stick this side over here. Yeah, see this? Normally I'd have to take my scraper and get that up. But doing it with that sand and sifting that, look at that. Yeah, I know. I'm sifting chicken poo on camera in this video, but I had to prove to myself, because I've kind of fought putting this down all this time. But by golly, folks, look at there. Much easier, neater. I don't even have the smell that I normally do in here, or the flies. So, yeah, that's a big win for the sand. And that's what Chad and Ray are using. So thank you, Chad. Thank you, Ray. I'd have to say, from at least this standpoint, from now on, I'll continue to use the sand as long as it does this good. 2 thumbs up. Alrighty, well, you know, I owe a lot of women, maybe every mom, let's put it this way. I owe every mom an apology over that last video. Her and I haven't talked about it. I don't talk about half the things I'm going to bring up, by the way, to Mom. It's the element of surprise. See that look on her face? And I knew after I made the video, I got to thinking about it. I did the little boy and his dad following Daddy into the store. I apologized, because that's just as important. It happens to moms just as much as it does to dads. I know. I listen, folks, I'm sorry. You know, I was just caught up in
I understand totally.
A dad moment,
yeah,
but
that's okay.
One comment, and there may be more, but one comment, lady goes, sound like women too. Hey, I'd already thought about it. I was already going to cover it. I already felt bad. So yeah, a lot of you shared your stories, ladies too, about the kids and.
Well, and you never said men only. I mean, you didn't imply that.
I know. Well, I know, but it was, you know, I didn't at the time, you know.
Acknowledge us and give us credit.
Yeah, because when Leanne was, you know, their time period before that, you went during summer. She went to summer movies, swimming.
Yeah.
She did everything with the boys.
Well, I even took a job that was an aide in the school, so that while they were in school, I could be on the same schedule with them.
Yeah, take them.
So I took them, picked them up.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that was a formative time for them to hang out with Mom, and that's how they became Mama's boys. You know, which I have no problem with that whatsoever. But anyhow, I just thought I couldn't wait to make this video. Nobody said, hey, you know.
I don't think anybody took offense to it.
Oh, you didn't. But I thought myself that I needed to say that. So there you go. But the response to the last video, especially where, you know, I talked about the boys, and the emails and the comments have been incredible. The similarities, the thoughts that as you get older, they think the same things we did about the boys looking back. You do get to a certain degree, relive some of those with grandkids if you're fortunate enough to be around them a lot or get to visit them.
I think the part I enjoy the most is when Chad calls me and he starts telling me how his day has gone with his 3 boys, and I just sit and I laugh, and he'll keep telling the story, and eventually he'll say, okay, I know, Mom, I know, you know all about this. And I'm like, he goes, I don't know how you fed the 3 of us. And I was like, I don't either.
Well, we didn't eat.
That's true. We let them have food.
That's not true. I hid cookies.
You did. You hid cookies.
Yeah, we bought the boys' cookies, and then Dad had his stash, and then if we ran out, I had to go get my stash. You know, so, but overall, the comments and the emails, guys, have been just tremendous. I do have to say that, and we've heard from folks before who they don't see their kids often. Some of them have relationships that are broken, and they don't see the kids, they don't see the grandkids, and I'm sorry. We have been very, very blessed that we have been able to share all of that with our boys and the grandkids.
Well, I have a sister, you know, she and her husband, Steve, were minister and pastor's wife for years. And they have 9 children, and they have one son that decided to just go marry this girl, and they just have not even been around. They have 2 children that Linda and Steve have never even seen. So it happens. It can happen in any family. I mean, there's an example of a, God-fearing, going to church every Sunday pastor that went through that, and it breaks their heart.
So it's real life. We had a lady say that she's got grandkids she's never seen. I've always felt like, we've always talked about it, that we would never let that happen. I don't think anybody intends to let that happen.
No, I don't think so either.
And I don't think they, at some point you accept it. And we always felt like we would do everything we could if it, to mend the relationship. I mean, our boys back in the, teens and the college years,
we had some tough love.
We had some tough love.
Had to.
But we stayed with them. We never gave up on them. We never gave up on this phase they were going through.
Well, unfortunately, they stayed in church too, because we had raised them. They were, and they never gave up on that. And I think that it just finally, God spoke to them, and they realized what they were doing. And, we spoke to them too.
Right.
But,
But we made our minds up even back then that no matter how tired we were, no matter what they did, we stayed in touch.
Well, we had somebody in the church, remember, that told us that we needed to kick them out of the house.
Yes,
because we actually had 2 of the boys still lived at home, and we had friends of theirs that lived in our home, because one mother just got so fed up with her son, she said, "You just go live with the Dosses." She didn't call us. Yeah. She just said, "Go live with the Dosses," and he did.
And
he was by far worse than either one of our boys.
Right. We were not beyond following.
Oh no,
we followed. We did whatever. Yeah.
Tracked their cell phones, showed up, pick them up at places they weren't supposed to be, and
we would pick each other up. We were relentless, but we let them know we love you enough. We're going to stay with you. What does that have to do with the big picture of people that haven't seen her? That's our story. Yeah. You all have stories out there. Some of you may have never had any challenges with your kids, but they know what I'm talking about, and that's the best part. It does, it does choke me up. It does have that effect on me. And somebody said, "Hey, but look at all the great memories." Oh, I get it. I get all that. I think back then, times were simpler because you had, up until a certain time, you had control. They were in bed when I wanted them to be in bed. I didn't worry about them. There's worry.
Well, now some of that happened when they were out, because they decided, and we still didn't give up on them. When we found out what they were doing, we still went and visited them where they were living.
Well, that's true.
And we
what
let
I
them
meant
know.
was when they were younger, we had control. Then when out of that, you don't have control. You can say things to them and tell them and try to influence them, but ultimately, if they want to get in the car and go, they go.
Yeah.
But we were there. We were there, and they knew it. And they thank us now.
Yeah.
They thank us now for
not giving up
and loving them enough to know that deep down somewhere, because they were all accepted Christ at a very young age, 6, 7 years old. So it is possible to be a Christian, and then as you grow up, even in church, temptation, that little shiny lure that Satan puts out there, and as much as you tell them, sometimes they find out the hard way, and God teaches them a very difficult lesson. Just so y'all know, we had some hard years. We had some hard years, and it lasted, and it was enduring, and it was not easy, and God has seen us through a lot, and the boys.
Yeah, and honestly watched over them, because they did some stupid stuff.
Yes, they did. Yes,
that could have been a real problem. And
yes,
I'm just thankful that God said no, not going to happen. And it's like Ralph said, it still wasn't easy. Man, there was nights that we just lay awake. Well, the night that I went out looking for one of them in a snowstorm, he was asleep, and he had to get up every morning at 3:30, 4 o'clock. And when I found out where this one was, I decided I was going to track him. I remember I pulled up and called their cell phone, and I said, "Hey, I'm down the road by this little church." And I said, "You come out," because I said, "You're going home with me." "No, I'm not." "Yeah, you are, because if you don't, I'm coming in." you don't want to come in here. And I said, you're right, I don't, but I will. And it wasn't too long before his buddy brought him down the hill and
Yeah.
opened the car door,
Yeah.
dumped him out. And the only reason
Yeah.
the kid didn't say anything was because you had already confronted that kid.
Yeah, I'd already confronted that old boy, and
He
I
was
think
a
I think he,
troublemaker.
when I did confront, I think he peed a little bit. He did, because I made it very clear, there's nothing that I would not do for one of my boys, nothing. And that still holds true.
When they realized later in life what they had done, oh my goodness, they just, apologized over and over again. They felt so bad. And,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah.
I guess, part of growing up, no matter how much you keep your kids in church,
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes.
Sometimes. But anyhow, we went off track a little bit, but I think, though, with our audience, with y'all, sharing things like that, letting you know that, hey, it happens.
It does.
It happens. I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist. I guess I don't always understand, and y'all can help me. In a situation where your kids right now won't talk to you, you haven't seen your grandkids, and Lynn and Steve are a good example of that. What is it that keeps, what is it that you can't go to somebody and go, hey, look, I know.
Even
I
that
know,
doesn't
I know.
always work, though.
But
I don't want to lay a guilt trip on anybody, because Lynn and
No.
Steve tried that.
right.
And
right, true.
I remember when Steve was on a ventilator for 10 days back here.
Oh, it's been 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
ago.
I was up
Yeah.
there with him, and we were all the kids were out in the waiting room, and
Mhm.
this boy showed up. And he brought his wife. Of course, she didn't speak a word the whole time they were in there. And as I was staying in a hotel outside the hospital, and he walked out with me and his wife too. And he said, are they going to take him off the vent? And I said, I don't know. I said, that's something that you need to talk to your family about. And he goes, well, I can't. And I said, no, it's not that you can't. You won't. And I said, that's your dad in there. And I said, I know that you haven't seen him in a while. And I said, I know you're feeling guilty. But they had reached out to him, and he every time they did, he just wanted money, or he wanted something that they had, or and so sometimes people do reach out and they do try to help,
And I'm sure these folks have.
yeah, and I think that I think it's important that you try for your own sake as much as theirs, because I know that Lynn and Steve don't have any guilt over it. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know whether he's been around now. And
Right.
I know Steve's not doing well. I'd probably give an update right now. Today, they're doing you pronounce it?
Endoscopy.
Endoscopy, yeah. Because they think he's bleeding internally. And
They took another 7 pounds of fluid off. So that's
7
14 in about 4 weeks
yeah,
total.
yeah. So they're going to have to do something. But, that's...
He's low on the hemoglobin, so he's bleeding somewhere.
I know that Linda and my niece stayed the night last night because they were going to take him in early this morning. So just keep praying. I was going to say one more thing. When you were talking, I was in there responding to an email, and a lady was telling me all that she'd been through in life. And, I can relate in the sense that when we took in foster children, there were a lot of kids that went through similar situations that this woman's gone through, but she's gone through a lot. And it always goes through my mind how I follow Franklin Graham on Instagram, and these families right now in Texas, and
Now New Mexico.
yeah, and everybody's
Carolinas.
saying, why God, why God? And Franklin Graham never says, I'll tell you why. He just says, I can tell you one thing, God loves you. And, he's there for you too. And that's kind of what I was telling her in the email that I'm finishing up in there. I can't explain it. I don't know why she's gone through all that she has. But maybe God's waiting on her to turn to him, and I'm trying to help her, give her some resources that maybe can help. They're struggling, that end up being homeless. And she wasn't asking for anything. She just wanted me to know that she had wanted us to know that she had watched our videos, and that it gave her hope and it made her feel good. And that, those are the people that I wish I could just reach out and, hug and love on them. And yeah.
I know. I have 2 emails yet to answer along those lines from a couple of people I read this morning. A big picture of the why It actually starts with Adam and Eve in the garden, folks.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's
You
just,
had that.
Yeah, let's just call it like it is.
You had that thing you listened to this week. You were telling me about.
Yes, yes. God said, do what I say. And they didn't, it's real simple. They didn't do what God said. And their actions, sentenced us basically to death, to where Jesus had to come on the earth
And die for us.
For our sins. So the consequences, though, even of that, God said, these things will happen now. So there will, the weather, physical health, all that was changed when all of that changed when the temptation was given into. And so that's how important it is to, if you feel tempted to do the wrong thing, and that's at 65, 80, I would imagine, 55, you know what I mean? I mean, but my point being is, there are consequences to your actions. You do reap what you sow. So,
well, and as Christians, if you're a born-again Christian and you've asked Jesus to come into your heart, when you sin, the Holy Spirit causes you to grieve and know that you've sinned. I mean, and I'm thankful for that, because there are people that don't have that remorse and they don't feel that because they don't have the love of God and the Holy Spirit in their life. They've never asked Jesus into their heart. So that does make a huge difference, I mean.
It does. But it's, with the floods and things that happen and no one's going to tell you this is why it happened. But I can tell you what, God did not cause that. God did not cause that flood to kill all those people, bottom line, or tornadoes or hurricanes. It is a byproduct of the earth groaning, and we'll continue to do so the closer Jesus gets to coming back.
Well, you look at our world right now, and again, I'm not getting political. Don't anybody send me hey, you're getting political, because I'm not bringing up anybody's names. I'm just saying our world right now is so far out there on everything. I mean, it's just...
We need a heart change.
We do.
It's a heart problem, folks.
But we also
it's a heart problem.
We also know, because the Bible tells us in the end of times, this is the way it's going to be.
Correct. That's true. That's right.
So
don't fret and worry about it.
Yeah.
It is how it's supposed to be.
Unless you're not where you need to be with God.
Yes, that's right.
And then don't fret and worry, but just get on your knees.
Yep. Say, God, forgive me, and He'll do the rest. Okay. All right. Well, hey, deer feeder. Let's go the other way real quick. You showed the deer feeder part of it. I did get a solar charger, and the funny part about it is
there's no sun over there, is there?
Well, that's the funny part.
Oh,
I'm going to have to. I got this $5,000 solar powered thing, and it doesn't even work. And it ain't quite 5,000, but anyhow. You can set it to where it manually feeds, or it automatically feeds every morning, So I set it for 6 o'clock, and I snuck around the corner, 6 a.m., and I still put some down here. But that thing went off, and I only got it set for like 3 or 4 seconds. And there were like 6 or 8 deer, and you thought that they'd heard a shotgun blast. Now, they're used to it physically being there, because this morning I went out and they're all eating around it. But I had it shut off because I needed more corn. So they're used to it physically being there, but they're not used to this. You can imagine metal, you take corn, hard-shelled corn, and you turn it real fast, how noisy that is. It goes zzz, like that and throws corn, right?
How was that again?
Zzz, like that. And it's
I've heard
pop,
it.
Pop, pop, bang, bang, bang. And so they all take off, and I'm hoping they kind of get used to it. But they figured out it's there, and they are eating the corn.
I just noticed we have another camera.
What?
They're all over the place out
here. Oh, I know.
Here.
I got a camera on that. In fact, I'll get some footage. Hopefully, I may have the footage of them taking off and running. I haven't looked yet, but yeah, don't sneak. You can't sneak up on us.
Really. Our alarms go off on our phone, and we're like, which one's that?
I know. I got so many cameras. I mean, I forget where they're at. I just, I like, here's the bad part. Sometimes, if I'm outside, and I have to use the restroom real quick, I just go, and I'm thinking, Is there a camera? I have to check for cameras before I go.
That was funny on the 4th the other night. Kyle had to go, and he didn't want to go in the house, and he's done this since he was a little boy. I'm telling on you, Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle was.
But he looked at Chad, and he said, "Is there a camera over there on the other side of the pool?" And And Chad said, where? And he goes, over on the other side. And Chad said, nah, go ahead. And he goes over there and he gets doing his business. And Chad yells, except for the one right there on the edge of the,
Yeah.
Everybody was laughing because we couldn't see him. We were up on the deck.
Yeah, you couldn't get Kyle to go in the when he was
Yeah.
little, man.
Oh, I know.
What-
But that's how we potty
He
trained
was a
him.
kicker. He would just do it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
He never even told you. He'd just drop his drawers, and next thing you know,
No, you're thinking Matt.
Was it Matt?
Matt
I thought it
did
was
it.
Kyle.
We had our little store out of Mom and Dad's home, our Country Touch,
Uh-huh.
and we had people in there. We had a grand opening at Christmas. We did it every year, and we had people in there. And Dad goes, "Sis," and I said, "What?" And he goes, "He's out there peeing in my yard." I was
That's
like,
Matt?
"Oh, I'm sorry." Yeah, I
Well,
said, "I'm sorry, Dad." I said,
I know, but I remember at the
people thought it was hysterical, but
Well,
I was a
sure.
little embarrassed,
Yeah, well, that's my fault.
especially since there was a
gotta go.
bathroom right there in the shop.
Yeah, but it's
you
too
know.
convenient to
Yeah.
you can't wait. So
Yeah.
yeah, I remember on one house we had a deck, and they would go to the deck, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
loved
Yeah.
seeing how far it could go. Hey, we've never had girls. All right,
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
anything about girls. I'm sure they don't do that.
Well, that's how we potty trained
but
Matt.
That's right.
We stood him up on the
That's right.
driveway, and the boys would pee, and he did
That's
it
right.
too.
That's
and that's
right.
how we got him to going.
Yeah, right. I forgot about that.
So-
Yeah. See,
Need to give an update on the dog.
yes. Go.
We still have him. We did take him and have him checked. He is not chipped. I did get a response on this Paw Boost, I think it's called,
Mhm.
but this person did not respond. They assign an email, and it's .pawboost.com or something. They didn't. They responded from a personal email, and it's been a real weird exchange. I mean, they've sent pictures. I've sent pictures. There was a name on the ad that I matched up, found on the same road that we found him on, but she asked me to use a different name than what was in the ad. So I've asked if she is the original poster, and she says yes, but I'm not so sure. And the pictures we've looked at that she has sent, I'm not convinced this is her dog, and I'm not convinced that it's not a scam.
It's SCAM. It is a scam.
She wanted to do a
If she's-
video call,
Yeah.
and I wasn't
no.
comfortable with that.
No,
And they
no,
do
no, no.
warn you about these scams, and they say don't. I guess they ask for some kind of Google code. I don't even know what that
Oh,
is.
they're trying to get money. They're trying to find your address. It's a
Yeah.
scam.
So right now we're
wherever.
we're
Wouldn't
working
happen.
on what we're going to do, because we can't keep him here, but we've got a plan worked out, and we're going to have a video next Wednesday on the whole thing. So
because if we
we'll share it with you then.
yeah, if we tell you now what it is and it doesn't work out, we're
True.
then we
True.
all for naught. So let's give us a little time. But he's cool. He's good. He's food, water. He's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They were so good at the Humane Society, and we took him
They
down there
were.
to give him his shots and his stuff. And yeah, he's a good boy. We're trying to work something out. So thank you for watching this video. Appreciate it so much. This last video, every video, but sometimes particularly this last one, really solidifies why we're doing this. It really, really does. Y'all have hearts of gold out there. All you prayer warriors, pray for these people like Leanne was talking about, people estranged from their kids and people have lost kids and their parents and it's just keep praying. Just keep praying. God bless you. We love you. Keep praying for Texas, now New Mexico. Keep praying. Still a lot of people that need to be found. I don't know if you don't want to give up on that or forget. Stay strong. Pray on. And until next time, everybody.
Bye. Love
Bye-bye.
you guys.
Love y'all.